What is going on, everybody? It's JetsCentral coming back with a preview video between the Atlanta Falcons and the New York Jets for Week 1 of the NFL preseason, kicking off Friday at 7:30 p.m. East Coast time. I believe the game is going to be aired on NFL Network, which is cool. So I'm totally pumped up for the game, and it's kind of ironic because it's preseason, right? There's really nothing to preview as far as game planning goes, as far as how to attack the opposing team's defense and how to stop the opposing team's offense. But what I can talk about is my expectations for the New York Jets this coming Friday, okay? And so let's start with the quarterback position, right? The most important position on the field, and frankly, the most intriguing position on the field right now for the Jets. Number one, who starts? If I was betting, I would say it's probably going to be Josh McCown that goes out there with the ones. Why? Because number one, everyone loves him, and then two, he had a pretty solid season numbers-wise with the Jets last year, and he's been around the longest. So I would assume Josh McCown's going to be the starting quarterback come Friday. How does this guy do? How does he look against the ones? Now, he's been in the league for a long time. He hasn't really had that much punishment on his body. Yes, he has been injury prone over the past few seasons, but when you take a look at his NFL career, he hasn't had a career like Roethlisberger, like Brett Favre, where he's just played every single snap, for the past 15 seasons. Nothing crazy. He's been a backup for a long time. So can Josh McCown duplicate what he did last year with the Jets? He is up there in age. I believe he's 38 or 39 years old right now. So yeah, he's still pretty old. So what can Josh McCown do against the starting the first team defense of the Falcons? Number two, Teddy Bridgewater. This is a guy who I think everybody's eyes are going to be on come Friday night. Obviously, devastating knee injury. How does this guy look? Can he drop back? Can he take a hit? Can he press off his back hip and deliver accurate intermediate and long ball passes? Is this guy going to still be a dual threat? Can he escape? Can he move in the pocket? There's so many question marks right now surrounding Teddy Bridgewater, and thankfully, if he could check the boxes for all of those different categories, he can be a really, really good NFL quarterback. People forget this guy was one of the one of the emerging stars of the NFL before he got hurt. I mean, he was doing a really solid job with the Vikings early on back in like 2015, 2016. So yeah, Teddy Bridgewater, what's going to happen with him? And then, of course, Sam Darnold, right? Sam Darnold, third pick overall in the draft out of USC. How does this guy do? I think this is probably going to be the biggest storyline from both sides, right? From both teams. How does Sam Darnold look? And obviously, it's a huge question right now. And it's pretty exciting to think about, because the Jets finally were picking in the top 5. Highest pick quarterback since Namath. And I'm just really excited to see how he does. Now, I want to say this. If Sam Darnold struggles, right, worst case scenario, 4 picks, whatever, he just looks horrible. Completely okay. It's completely okay. Do not panic. Remember, he's 21, just turned 21 years old. Coming from college, he had the most interceptions, the most fumbles. He played in the simplest offense at USC under Clay Helton and T. Martin. And he also has the worst mechanics out of the core 4 quarterbacks. So Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, Baker Mayfield, and then of course Darnold. So remember, if this guy struggles, just think back. Okay, he's still young. He still has a long way to go. It's completely fine. It's his first NFL action. Real bullets are flying here. So if he does not do well, do not panic. Now, if he does do well, I think that's going to pay huge dividends in Sam's defense to be the starting quarterback come week 1 of the actual NFL season. So my ideal plan for the Jets quarterback room right now is I would let McCown start the game. Okay, week 2 I would let Teddy Bridgewater start. Week 3, I'd let Sam Darnold start. And then week 4, I would just kind of, hopefully by week 4, we would have an idea of who's actually going to be the real starter for the regular season. So then you could kind of go from there. But I would give each quarterback on the roster a shot against first team defenses. I think that's going to be beneficial for all quarterbacks involved, and it's also going to be really beneficial for the coaching staff, because if Sam Darnold does really well, let's just say he does really well against every game he plays, so the four weeks, I believe it's the Falcons, the Redskins, the Giants, and then the Eagles. If he looks really good, but he's playing against third-team defenses. We might be getting a kind of a false advertisement. We might not be seeing the clear picture because we don't know how Sam Darnold looks against the ones. So at least one game out of this preseason, I want to see Darnold going up against the first-team defense. I don't care who it is, whether it's next week, 2 weeks from now, whatever. I want to see Darnold start one game of the preseason. So next up, I want to talk about the secondary. Jamal Adams, Marcus May, newcomer Trumaine Johnson. All these guys are super talented, great leaders, pretty vocal, and they all have, as outstandingly high upsides, okay? All these guys, you can say, haven't hit their prime yet, especially May and Adams. So how does this secondary look under Todd Bowles, who is a former safety, who has coached great players like Patrick Peterson, like Darrelle Revis, Cromartie, Tyrann Mathieu. Todd Bowles knows what a good safety looks like. He knows what a good cornerback looks like. How does this nucleus of talent that the Jets have, how do they look, okay, against this great Falcons offense? So I know I'm kind of talking about the first team here, but I'm just amped. I really want to see this first team really first team overall, but the first team secondary I'm really pumped up for. And then another quick storyline I want to kind of observe as well is Morris Claiborne. We brought back Morris Claiborne on a pretty team-friendly deal, and I thought that was actually one of the most underrated pickups from the Jets of the whole season. Or of the whole offseason, excuse me. How does Claiborne do? Coming off a pretty solid season, he started off the season really good, but he kind of ended on a shaky note last year. How does this guy do guarding the number 2 wide receiver as opposed to the number 1? I think Trumaine Johnson is going to be taking a lot of the pressure off of Claiborne. So coming off a pretty solid season, how does Claiborne perform against the number 2 guy? Okay, and yes, this is preseason, so we're not going to get the full sample size here. It's just going to be a quick little appetizer, if you will. But I still think the reps early, probably the first half of the first quarter, these reps are going to be crucial. I cannot wait to see how Claiborne does against the second guy, because if he could have the same, duplicate the same year that he did last year, and of course stay healthy, problem that he's kind of ran into in the past. If he could stay healthy and perform like last season, guarding the number 2 wide receiver, he could be in store for a great stellar season. Okay, so Morris Claiborne and this Jets secondary. Okay, now I guess the last point, because I don't want to make this video too long, I could really talk about this subject for hours here, but the last point I want to touch on is the younger players, the rookies. The guys like Perry Nickerson, Nathan Shepard. Okay, this guy's gonna be a beast. Perry Nickerson, Nathan Shepard, Trent Cannon. Okay, obviously I mentioned Darnold before. Guys like, I don't know if Dylan Donahue's going to be playing. Jordan Jenkins, Darren Lee, the younger members of this team. I cannot wait to see how they've performed, or how they've grown throughout the training camp so far, mini camp. I cannot wait to see these guys in green and white and really just showing what they can do against an opposing team. So the young guys, Nathan Shepard, like I said, I think he's going to be in store for a big season. I've heard nothing but great things coming from Jets camp. His nickname is actually Thanos, if you guys are familiar with the Avengers series. He played the main villain in it. Unstoppable, that's why they gave him the nickname. But Nathan Shepard, man, he's going to be a stud. I cannot wait to see what he does. And then other guys like Trent Cannon, blazing 40-yard dash. Perry Nickerson, blazing 40-yard dash. Hearing nothing but great things from the later round guys of the Jets. So when the pads come on, when the lights come on, and there's, butts in the seats, how do these young players do against a pretty good, well-coached team that knows success? They know how to play. They know how to win games. The Atlanta Falcons. How do these guys fare against them? So that's pretty much the main storylines that I wanted to cover in this video. And of course, I'm excited for every single thing. The wide receiver room, how does Terrell Pryor look? Chad Hansen, how is he coming along? How well does this offensive line block against the first team Falcons defense, like Vic Beasley, stuff like that? Running game, Crowell, Bilal Powell, all these storylines, but those are pretty much the main 3 that I wanted to talk about in this video. Going on 10 minutes here, so thanks for bearing with me. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section from both sides, Jets fans and Falcons fans. What are you most excited to see, from your team come this Friday at 7:30? It's going to be nationally televised, which is totally sick. So thanks so much for sticking around, and as always, go Jets.